Here is the President of the United States. Thank you very much, my fellow Americans. Good evening. Let me begin by congratulating the NASA team and our brave astronauts on the successful launch of Artemis. It was truly impressive. It will travel farther than any manned rocket has ever flown and will go substantially beyond the moon. To go around it and return home from a distance that has never been reached before is impressive. They are on their way, and may God bless them. They are brave people. We want God to bless these 4 amazing astronauts as we speak. Tonight, it has only been a month since the United States Armed Forces launched Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, Iran. In the past 4 weeks, our armed forces have achieved swift, active, and overwhelming victories on the battlefield, victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's Navy no longer exists, and their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them, the terrorist regime they led, are now dead. The command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones has been drastically reduced, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being destroyed. Very few of them remain. Never in the history of war has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing in America. As it has been for the last 5 years under my presidency, we are winning, and now winning more than ever. Before discussing the current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking Venezuela. In a matter of minutes, that attack was swift, lethal, violent, respected by everyone. After rebuilding our armed forces during my first term, we now have by far the strongest army and now we are working together with Venezuela, and we are em verdadeiro sentido parceiros de joint venture. Estamos nos dando incrivelmente bem na produção, selling huge amounts of oil and gas from the largest reserves on Earth. After the United States of America, now we are totally independent from the Middle East, and yet we are still there to help. We don't need to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything from them, but we are there to help our allies. Tonight, I will update you on the progress our troops have made in Iran and why. Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the free world. Since the first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I declared that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. That fanatical regime has shouted death to America, death to Israel. For 47 years, their representatives were behind the killing of 241 Americans at the barracks in Beirut and the massacre of hundreds of our servicemen with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole and carried out countless other heinous acts, including the bloodbath. Only the horrible and bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something unlike anything most people have ever seen, would be carried out by that regime. The murderer also recently killed 45,000 of his own citizens who were protesting in Iran, 45,000 dead. It would be an intolerable threat if these terrorists had nuclear weapons. The most violent and brutal regime in the world would be free to carry out its campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder, protected by a nuclear shield. I will never allow that to happen, and none of us, no former president, should allow it either. This situation has been going on for 47 years, and it should have been resolved long before I took office. I did many things during my 2 terms to prevent Iran from pursuing nuclear weapons. First, and perhaps most importantly, I eliminated General Qasem Soleimani in my first term. He was an evil genius, a brilliant person, a horrible human being. However, he was the father of the roadside bomb, and what he did was simply horrible. Iran might have been in a much better and stronger position if he were alive. We'd probably be having a different conversation tonight, but you know what? We'd still be winning a lot. And then I ended the Iran nuclear deal made by Obama, a disaster. He gave them 1.7 billion milhões de dólares in cash. He took that money from the banks in Virginia, D.C., and Maryland. All the money they had was sent by plane, trying to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and continued with the mission to obtain a nuclear bomb. The deal with Iran would have led to a vast nuclear arsenal, and they would have had those weapons for years and would have used them. The world would be different. There would be no Middle East or Israel, in my opinion and in the opinion of many experts. If I hadn't ended that deal, and I was very honored to do it, I was very proud to have done it, it was bad from the beginning. Basically, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I'm correcting them. My first preference has always been the path of diplomacy. But the regime continued their relentless pursuit of nuclear weapons and rejected all attempts at an agreement. For that reason, in June, I ordered an attack on Iran's main nuclear facilities, Operation Midnight Hammer. No one had ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently. We completely obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then tried to rebuild its program in a completely different location, making it clear that they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also quickly building a vast arsenal of ballistic missiles and would soon have missiles that could reach Aroa, Europe, and almost the rest of the world. The Iranian strategy was obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible and give them the greatest possible range. And they had some weapons that nobody believed they possessed. We just found that out. We eliminated them, eliminated all of them so that nobody could actually use them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody has ever seen before, they were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. But in the end, those are just words. If you are not willing to act when the time comes, as I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power beyond its borders. That means eliminating Iran's navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, damaging their air force and missile program like never before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We did all that. Their navy and air force are finished. Their missiles are practically depleted. Together, these actions will incapacitate Iran's army, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and prevent them from creating a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There has never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are close to being achieved. As we celebrate this progress, we especially remember the 13 American warriors who gave their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice in the past month, I traveled to Dover Air Force Base. It was something I wanted, to be with those heroes when they returned to American soil, and I was with them. And their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands, we saluted them, and now we must honor them by fulfilling the mission for which they gave their lives. And every one of their loved ones said, "Please, sir, please finish the job," every one of them. And we are going to finish the job, and we are going to finish it very quickly. We are getting very close. I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They have been great, and we are not going to allow them to be harmed or to fail in any way, shape, or form. Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gas prices here in the country. This short-term increase was entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching insane terrorist attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict. This is further proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They will use them, and they will use them quickly. This would lead to decades of extortion, economic suffering, and instability, worse than we can imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to face this threat. You all know that we built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we took a dead, weakened country. I hate to say it, but we were a dead and weakened country after the last administration. And we turned it into the most promising country in the world, by far still without inflation. Record investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion in the biggest stock market in history, with 53 all-time records in just 1 year. All of this positioned us to eliminate a cancer that had been forming for a long time. It's known as nuclear Iran. And they didn't know what was coming. They never imagined it. Remember, because of our drill baby drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are the largest producer of oil and gas on the planet, without even considering the millions of barrels we're getting from Venezuela because of the Trump administration's policies. We produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think about that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that. There is no country like ours anywhere in the world, and we are in great shape for the future. The United States imports virtually no oil through the Strait of Hormuz and will not import it in the future. We don't need it, and we never have. We defeated and completely decimated Iran. They were decimated both militarily and economically and in every other way. The countries that receive oil through the strait should take care of that passage. They should seize it and value it. They can do that easily. We will be helpful, but they must protect the oil they need so much. For the countries without fuel, many of whom refused to take part in the decapitation of Iran, we had to act alone. I have a suggestion. First, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty, really a lot. And second, develop a little courage, even if it's late. You should have done that with us before, like we asked. Go to the strait and take it, protect it, use it yourselves. Iran was essentially decimated. The hard part is already done, so it should be easy. And anyway, when this conflict is over, the strait will naturally open up. It will just naturally open up. They will want to sell oil because that's all they have to try to rebuild. The flow will resume and gas prices will drop quickly. Stock prices will also rise quickly. They didn't drop much. They dropped a little, but they've had some good days recently. We did better than I expected, but we had to go through this journey to Iran. Against this threat with our historic tax cuts, people are getting bigger refunds than they thought. Thanks to that great project, our economy is strong, growing, and soon it will thrive like never before. It will surpass the levels it was at a month ago. I made it clear since the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our goals are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on the right track to complete all of America's military objectives. Soon, very soon, we will strike them with extreme force. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, we will send them back to the Stone Age where they belong. Meanwhile, discussions continue. Regime change is not our goal. We never said regime change. But regime change happened because all of their original leaders died. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and more reasonable. If no agreement is made during this period, we'll be keeping an eye on key targets. Without an agreement, we'll attack all their power plants with force, and probably at the same time, we didn't hit the oil, even though it's the easiest target, because that wouldn't give them any chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could attack and it would disappear, and there would be nothing they could do about it. They don't have any anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar was completely wiped out. We are unstoppable as a great military force. The nuclear sites obliterated by the B-2S were hit with such force that it would take months to access the area, and we monitored them closely by satellite. If we see any movement, even an attempt, they will be hit again with heavy missiles. We hold all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days, and the Vietnam War lasted 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. The Iraq War lasted for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in the middle of this military operation, so powerful and so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries. It's been 32 days and the country has been eviscerated, and essentially it no longer poses a threat. They were the Middle East's bully, but not anymore. This is a real investment in the future of your children and grandchildren. The whole world is watching and can't believe the power, the strength, and the brilliance. They simply can't believe what they're seeing. They can't believe what they see. The brilliance of the United States Armed Forces. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we will finally be free from Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the verge of ending Iran's sinister threat against America and the world. And I tell you, the world is watching. And when we do this, when it's all over, the United States will be safer, stronger, more prosperous, and greater than ever before. May God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, and good night.